You tell yourself you'll look at your account later. Not right now. Right now, you just need to breathe, to come down from the day, to feel like a human being again. So you swipe the card, tap place order, let the subscription roll through, and quietly promise yourself that next month you'll finally get serious about money. In this story, that version of you has a name, Dave. Dave is tired in a way that isn't just physical. You know that feeling. Not a busy day, one of those days where your brain keeps a private scorecard. The emails you answered, the problems you fixed, the people you tolerated. And somewhere, quietly, a sentence appears in your head. I earned this. You don't say it out loud, but you feel it when you add the extra item to the cart, when you upgrade shipping, when you think, I'm too exhausted to cook. So you open the delivery app, even though you already know what that total will feel like tomorrow. You don't totally ignore money, you just interact with it as little as possible. You check if a payment went through, you make sure nothing bounced, you look long enough to confirm that life isn't on fire, then you close the app. You call it not stressing about money. But deep down, you know it isn't peace. It's avoidance that feels like peace. You tell yourself you're just bad with numbers, or not a money person. But think about this. You remember the exact tone your boss used this morning. You remember a sentence from an argument 3 years ago. You remember tiny details from shows you watched in high school. So it's not that your brain can't handle information. It's that money has meant something different to you for a very long time. And what comes next might explain why. After the day is over, Dave replays it in his head. Not because he wants to, because he feels like he has to justify how drained he is. You do this too. You go back over the hours, trying to prove that today was hard enough to deserve whatever comfort you're about to buy. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Those lines in your head don't actually belong to you. The way you treat money today looks a lot like the way your parents treated it, without you ever deciding that on purpose. Think about the background noise of your childhood, the phrases that showed up whenever money came up. Money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. You think I'm made of money? Or maybe the opposite. As long as the bills are paid, we're fine. You work hard, you spend what you want. Treat yourself. You earned it. Maybe they never said anything directly, but you remember the feeling, the tension when the mail arrived, the way certain envelopes were opened slower, the way voices changed around prices, the arguments that always circled back to how much something cost, and the silence afterward. Or maybe your parents didn't argue, they just worked. Early mornings, late nights, coming home defeated, saying they were fine, then justifying a small splurge as the only bright spot in the day. To you, as a kid, that became the pattern. Work until you're empty, then buy something small to refill yourself, just enough to do it again tomorrow. You watched scenes like that play out. Maybe you were sent out of the room. Maybe you pretended not to listen. But your brain was always recording. It was learning rules. Money is stressful. Money starts fights. Money is proof. Proof that someone isn't trying hard enough. Proof that someone is ungrateful. Proof that life is unfair. So you didn't just inherit eye color or height. You inherited definitions. What doing well feels like. What behind feels like. What enough feels like. And this is where things quietly break. When Dave gets paid, there's a brief sense of relief. Then his brain immediately starts spending it. Rent, car, card payment, groceries, subscriptions he forgot to cancel. By the time he's done, he's already tired of thinking about money. So he stops. You do something similar. You live your financial life at the surface, reacting to bills, reacting to cravings, reacting to stress, and you call it just the way life is right now. You tell yourself you'll deal with it when you make more, when things calm down, when you finally catch a break. But underneath it all, your parents' rules are still driving.
If they only looked at money when there was a problem, you probably do too. If they treated exhaustion like proof of effort, you might do the same. Wearing burnout like a badge, then spending money to reward it. If they always said yes to work and no to rest, you probably feel guilty slowing down. So you buy convenience, comfort, shortcuts, because you earned it. But here's the part nobody explains. The problem was never money. It was the story you inherited about what you have to trade for it. For your parents, the story may have been simple. If you're not tired, you didn't do enough. If you're not struggling, you're not really trying. And if you're not really trying, you don't deserve nice things. So worth became exhaustion. You watched that trial happen over and over. Now you run the same one in your own head. You don't ask, can I afford this in a way that respects my future? You ask, did I suffer enough today to justify it? Two different questions, same swipe. Your parents might have made $40,000 a year. You might make 70. Different lives, different numbers. But somehow you both end most months with the same thing left over, a few $100s. Same pattern. If money only mattered in emergencies growing up, urgency probably still wakes you up. Overdue bills make you focused, motivated, capable. But when there's no fire, money fades back into the background. That's not a character flaw, that's conditioning. Your nervous system learned money as a crisis tool, not a calm one. If worth was measured in exhaustion, then rest feels suspicious. So you add more work, more commitments, more yeses. Then you reward yourself for surviving it. In that world, discipline feels like punishment. Slowing spending feels like taking something away, because the rule says you have to struggle to earn joy. So when you don't struggle enough, you don't feel allowed to enjoy anything. You scroll, add items, apologize to yourself with purchases. The money going out isn't random, it's a record. A story about how you were taught to value your time, your energy, your worth. Discipline isn't really about numbers, it's about questioning that story. Not blaming your parents, not shaming yourself, just seeing it clearly. Because once you do, something shifts. Your bank balance stops being just math. It becomes a mirror, reflecting what you believe you have to become to deserve rest, comfort, security. If you had to empty yourself to earn anything growing up, of course saving feels impossible. How do you calmly plan for a future you don't believe deserves ease? Eventually, Dave opens the banking app, and this time he doesn't look away. He notices patterns, the late nights after brutal days, the weekends after stressful weeks, the treats that were really bandages. That scroll isn't shame, it's respect. There's a difference between I'm an idiot with money and wow, I keep trying to buy relief instead of giving it to myself. One is an attack, the other is awareness. And awareness is where discipline actually starts. Not the flashy kind, not aesthetic self-control, the quiet kind. Letting a day be hard without spending to prove it. Pausing before purchase to ask why. Choosing sleep over a package arriving in 3 days. Opening the bill before it's overdue. Looking at the number without letting it define you. Remembering your parents did the best they could with the story they had, and realizing you're allowed to write a different one. Nothing magical happens, no sudden wealth, no vanished debt, just one sentence written down. I don't have to destroy myself to deserve stability. That sentence cracks the old script, because once worth stops being tied to exhaustion, money can change roles. Not a reward, not a weapon, not a scoreboard, just a tool. A record of what you actually care about, a way to trade time for things that still matter tomorrow. You might still buy the takeout, you might still order the thing, but now it comes from choice, not proof. Discipline in that sense is just self-respect in slow motion. It's letting money be boring sometimes, letting rest be free, letting your account sit quietly without needing to fix your mood. The next time you feel that urge to buy something after a long day, pause. Not to say no, just to ask a different question. Am I buying this because I want it, or because I'm trying to convince myself today was worth it? Because if your worth has been measured in exhaustion since you were a kid, every financial decision you make now is doing more than moving numbers. It's either reinforcing that old story or quietly replacing it. And the real question is this: when you look at how you work, how you spend, how you avoid, Are you living your life, or are you still living out your parents' relationship with money, using your time, your future, your peace to keep their story going a little longer?